Po jo mi bukur është sa anda Spahia. Kjo do jetë nga Kosova. Edhe kjo mimoza krasniq është nga Kosova. Shishi, po këta që nga në Serbi këtu, Komora, Serbia. Albana Brega i ndalë ka kjo, mua. Jo, mi se kam problem unë. Po s'mi jep njëri Brega, in fakt. Jo, mua Brega, in fakt, në kam pas një, ku bëra jo gjë unë. E fillova në Albana, Brega, Joxhe, i mbaja të dyja.
Goca dëgjojeni.
Po bësh. Edhe këtu në ka bërë Brega, Joxhe, do nga më shush.
RECONOMY.
Goca dëgjojeni.
Franciska Koranqë, po hape mi që surat.
Goca jeni duke unë dëgjuar.
Skida.
Jest. Provezela. Jesti.
Unmute. Can I kindly ask everyone to take their seats, please? Thank you.
Bye.
Barbara, how do you say your name? No, how do you say yours? Yeah, Erasmus, thank you. I don't want to make a mistake. Okay. Dobar dan, mirdita, greetings everyone, and thank you for taking part in this event today. My name is Arber Kadir. I'm the regional manager for communications for Helvetas in Eastern and Southeastern Europe, and it gives me great pleasure to be this amazing call and also in beautiful Belgrade. It took me 45 minutes to fly from Tirana to Belgrade, and I had enough time in those short 45 minutes to reflect on the great changes that are happening in the Balkans. A lot of stuff has happened, you know, at the high level, but also at a medium level and the small level, starting from knowledge, economic trade, business, and what have you. Now, we are here gathered under the auspices of RECONOMY to jointly reflect on better waste management practices and business and circular business models that hopefully will help us propel inclusive and sustainable economic growth in the region. Now, I'm not gonna make a very long speech because the idea is to actually have people that have come here to share their knowledge and actually their reflections to do so. But hybrid event, which it means that we have people joining us from Western Balkans in front of their telephones or computers, and I'd very much welcome them to send questions to the panel that we will have in the second part of this event. But in the first part of the event, I'd like to call upon the people that have kindly given us their time to do this first reflection and say some words about what this means, this event. And I'd like to start with Mr. Mihailo Vesovic, who is the Director of the Sector of Strategic Analysis, Services, Internationalization, and Chamber of Commerce Industry of Serbia. It's a mouthful, but please.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you for joining us today. I would like to thank the Swedish Embassy and the Swedish government for supporting the RECONOMY project, and also the Helvetas as an implementation agency, our old friends. We used to work together, a lot of different things. I'm happy that we see each other again, and I would like to say hello to all our friends in the region. You are aware how much Chamber of Commerce of Serbia is dedicated to the regional cooperation. It's one of the main pillars of our work in the last 10 years. And I think that we accomplished a lot of great things. We accomplished and eased up the communication. We managed to do certain projects together jointly with a huge success, some with a less success, but we are not giving up. As a Serbian Chamber of Commerce, we are tending to further on be the driver of the regional integration and also our path towards the European Union. So thanks to everyone who is joining us. I think that this project is a very interesting thing. 10 years ago, some people here who were running the circular economy and myself, we had to explain what is the circular economy, how it works. Now, when you ask me today, how would I explain it to the kids that should be learning this at school, basically, is we are poor. We are not rich nations. We need to save everything. We don't need to left something behind. And aside from that, we have to be friendly towards the environment, towards the vulnerable groups, towards the women, and everybody who needs to be supported. So the circular economy is part of the wave of the green transformation. And green transformation is our precondition to actually be sustainable as a country, as an economy, to further on join the integration into the region and the European Union. There are no borders for the environment. Borders are administrative lines that you see on the maps, but air, water, pollution moves freely through the borders. So it's a common problem, it's a joint problem, and this is why this project is very important. We should tackle this problem and all this idea jointly as a region, and that is how we're gonna have a success at the end, because not one country in the region can be an island, and also West Balkans cannot be an island inside of the Europe. It is an integral part of the European future economy, and I believe that this project should support it. So thank you very much. I hope I gave you a little bit motion in this morning, and I hope that this project overall and today's day will be interesting, and we should learn everything. Thank you.
Mr. Vesovic. I must say that I like short, concise, and straight to the point. And straight to the point is the second speaker, because, sorry, the sound is a bit off, but the second speaker from the Kingdom of Sweden is the Deputy Head of Mission, Anna Sofia Erasmi. And I'd like to say thank you for supporting RECONOMY, who I said I'm not going to say much about because we've got the person who leads RECONOMY, but it's present in 11 countries and just getting steam right now because they're in the second year of operations of this project and program. Please.
Thank you very much. Dear representatives from the Chamber of Commerce, partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, cooperation is key to sustainable economic, social, and environmental development. It is therefore a great pleasure being here today at this important event, which marks the commencement of a cross-regional collaboration between the Chambers of Commerce in the Western Balkans. We can all agree that collaboration at all levels in addressing environmental challenges is crucial to achieve sustainable results. This collaboration between the chambers of commerce from Serbia, Montenegro, and Albania is expected to drive positive change in the region with a specific focus on waste management and circular economy. At Swedish embassies, we work to strengthen relations between Sweden and the country we are sent to, in my case, Serbia. This includes trade and promotion, as well as development cooperation. We believe in working in a coordinated and integrated approach within areas where Sweden has a lot to offer, such as circular economy. Swedish authorities, municipalities, and companies have extensive knowledge, systems developed and tested over time, and proven technology, as well as know-how for achieving a circular economy. Only 1% of Sweden's trash is sent to landfills. By burning trash, another 52% is converted into energy, and the remaining 47% gets recycled. The system is so good that we even import waste from other countries. This is a recipe we gladly share. As some of you may know, Sweden supports reform cooperation in the Western Balkans, both at the regional and bilateral level. This cooperation focuses on reform processes so as to create better conditions for democratic and inclusive development and to strengthen the ties with the EU. The collaboration between the chambers of commerce, which is being formalized here today, is one of several projects which the Swedish-funded RECONOMY program is supporting in the region. And it is the result of substantial preparatory work based on experience on what works and what doesn't. It is expected to contribute to improved regional collaboration and improved knowledge exchange with the aim of enhancing and inclusive waste management practices in the Western Balkans. The approach aims to reduce waste generation, create economic opportunities, and facilitate green job creation, and thereby supporting a green and just transition. Now, the potential for improvement is huge in the Western Balkans. Putting waste in landfills is not only bad for the environment and ultimately for all those that live there, but it's also a terrible waste of resources and a lost business opportunity. The Western Balkans has a very strategic geographical location. It has potential for cross-border cooperation in the circular economy and many trade linkages with the EU for reprocessing and exporting recycled materials. We want to encourage the governments to take an integrated approach to waste management, both at municipal and household levels, because separate waste collection is key to the European Green Deal, Europe's plan to make the continent climate neutral by 2050, and Sweden is a great supporter of the Green Deal and the Green Agenda, Western Balkans' reply to the Green Deal. Again, it is my pleasure to be here today to take part of the beginning of the important collaboration between the chambers of commerce. And hopefully more countries in the Western Balkans will join. I look forward to following this process and to see how we in Team Sweden, including the Swedish private sector, which has a lot of expertise in waste management and the green transition, can be potential partners in the work. Thank you very much.
Right, so it's great to hear that we will have the right vision and the means to back it up, and hopefully more people will join in this transition towards a green future, hopefully. Now, Helvetas is a player in the region, but even wider, and I have the pleasure to welcome a colleague of mine who is the director for Serbia, Helvetas Serbia, Nenad Celerovic, who normally does what I'm doing right now. He's a fantastic speaker, so I'm very good to be followed by him.
Thank you very much, Albert Falimenderit. Good morning, Mirmenjas. Welcome to Belgrade. Welcome to say Mirsevini. Dear Director Vesovic, dear Deputy Head of Mission, Madam Erasmi, dear Anne Charlotte, dear Paolo, dear Emilia, dear representatives of the Chambers of Commerce, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to be here today and to be back to the Chambers of Commerce. You could hear from Director Vesovic that we already had an established cooperation as Helvetas together with Chamber of Commerce. A few years ago, we were working together on how to bring knowledge, how to bring science and private sector together, and what science can do for the private sector. We were proud to support the establishment of the cooperation of science and private sector. And today, if you go on a great website, which still exists, you will also see that Helvetas was integral part of that project. The pleasure, it's really an honor because this is a project of a regional cooperation. And let's start with that. Regional cooperation is like if you can imagine a big puzzle and you are constantly putting the pieces. And today we are putting a few pieces on that big puzzle. And thank you very much for that. Thanks to the support of the Swedish government, thanks to my colleagues of RECONOMY, you are making our region better. You are improving our lives. And me, my family, and my friends, and all citizens in the region will have the benefits of this project. And that is what is the most important. When it comes to regional cooperation, I want to admit one thing. 10 years ago, we from NGOs, we were on the forefront. We were the one who were creating the bridges, breaking the borders and saying, yes, we bring people together, citizens, NGOs. But then the change happened. The private sector became faster. And the private sector is now leading this process. And we are there to support that process. And we will continue to support. For us, that is very important. The issues around the circular economy, protection of the environments are very crucial. And the change starts with the small steps. Yesterday, my colleagues, Mike Snežana is here, and I in the office, we discussed the decarbonization plan for our office. Our printers are set now for double printing, no more color printing. So a list of measures which we are introducing in our office in everyday life needs to start from individual level. Director Vesovic also mentioned the kids. From time to time, I am reminded by my son how I'm treating the environment, and that is the good change. The MOU which you are signing today is a very nice step forward. I also look forward that other countries of the region, economies of the region will also join. We know that there is a good potential around this. One more time, I want to thank the Swedish government for the support for the whole RECONOMY project. We are very proud of what RECONOMY is doing. Helvetas has a vision to be a knowledge broker, and RECONOMY is doing that. Great job to my colleagues, and congratulations for this. It was not easy to reach this. I know how the process looks like. So really, thank you very much, and good luck. Hope to see you soon back with more chambers of commerce joining this MOU. Thank you very much.
Is it on? Okay. Thank you very much, Nenad. It's always good to hear you talk, but it's time now to move to the second part, the ones that we can actually include. The many people that are actually following us on Zoom. It's actually quite interesting to see that many people. It shows that there is interest on this topic. And I'd like to welcome Emilia, my colleague from RECONOMY, and the guests of this panel who will be taking part to take place. And again, please put your questions if you want to take part in this remotely, and then we will field them to Emilia and to the panelists, and then you can have answers if you've got burning questions.
Good. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, dear guests. Good morning to representatives of the Swedish Embassy, of the Serbian Chamber, also of the other chambers that are part of this collaboration. Good morning to the private sector representatives and to all friends and collaborators with whom we have been discussing and working over the past trying to reach to where we are at today. I would still say a start of what we're about to do. My name is Emilia, and I'm the regional manager of the RECONOMY program for the Western Balkans portfolio. But today I will have the role of the moderator of this panel together with the esteemed guests, which I will introduce shortly. Before I do that, I would just quickly like to point three very key aspects of which will be the cornerstone of this discussion that we will have today. The first one is that the concept of the circular economy represents a transformative approach to businesses and the development, one that designs out waste, keeps products and materials in use, and regenerates natural systems. In the Western Balkans, transitioning to the circular economy is an opportunity, a one we should not miss at all. It's about rethinking and redesigning the way our economies work, from product design and consumption to waste management and resource recovery. The second pillar, which will be the foundation for this discussion, are the many documents that are related to the Green Deal agenda that have been signed in the Western Balkans, such as during the Sofia summit, which was held on the 10th of November 2020, the region reached an important milestone by endorsing the Leaders' Declaration on Green Agenda. This aligns with the Green Deal of the European Union. So these are all commitments that the countries in the region have committed to achieve in order to reach the milestones regarding the circular economy. And this is why we're here to discuss about this, and this is why the project is here to help these countries advance towards reaching these goals. And the last one, and not least, is the digital transformation, which is a part transition from linear to circular economy and promotion of online platforms, building spaces, hubs for regional exchanges, regional collaboration, and support. So without taking much of the time in the introduction, allow me now to introduce the esteemed panel speakers that I have today with me. On the right side of me, I have the representatives of the chambers, and on the left side, I have the representatives of the private sector, the two key important players in moving the circular economy forward. I'll start from the right side. Next to me is Ms. Nebojša Vranješ from the Center for Circular Economy within the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Serbia. Nebojša has over 20 years of experience working in the area of waste management and circular economy, and he's also the founder of the first waste electrical and electronic equipment recycling plant in Belgrade. Nebojša is one of our key partners or representative from the Chamber of Commerce in the implementation of these activities. Nebojša, welcome to this. The next to Nebojša is another dear colleague of ours, Milena Ramush. She's an environmental economist currently working as a coordinator for energy, efficiency, and environment protection at the Chamber of Economy of Montenegro, focusing on the implementation framework of green transition and circular economy in the private sector. Milena is also a member of many working groups who are supporting the development of different regulations and laws in the country. And last from this side is our representative from the Albanian Chamber. We have Ada Guven. She's an advisor to the president of the Union of Chambers and Commerce and Industry of Albania. Her focus is on integrating Albania and the Western Balkan countries in the EU, but also in the circular economy. She is involved as a consultant in the green transition. She's a policy advisor also for the United Economic Council of Albania. Welcome, Milena, and welcome, Ada. And on my left side, we have the two representatives from the chamber, from the private sector. I will start with Bojan. Bojan is the CEO of ESO Tron from Novi Sad. Bojan has extensive experience in the field of renewable energy and waste management, with a demonstrated history of working in the leading company of waste-to-energy operations in the Southeast region. In one of Esotron's social media posts, I read, society's awareness about the importance of recycling, circular economy, and environmental conservation will only rise if we constantly talk about it, which is why we should use every possibility to dialogue and to exchange on this topic. Looking forward to really exchanging with you, Bojan, today, and welcome. And last but not least, on my left-hand side, we have Ms. Jelena Zakonovic. Jelena is the CEO of the Metal Fair Steel Mill, a company with about 600 employees, mostly men. Jelena is Director of Economic Science, and her main areas of economics, finance, metallurgy, and mining. She has published several articles, newspapers and magazines. After 5 years of working in financial consulting, she has been employed in the Metal Fair Group since 2012, and since November 2020, she's in the position of the general manager of the company. One article describes Jelena as the steel lady. In this article, Jelena says, and I quote, "When I became the CEO, many people were shocked because this was a man sector, so the man company. But I wasn't scared though. With open arms, I accepted this challenge and decided to tackle it. After the initial shock and distrust, the employees accepted me wonderfully. I learned every day, and so I do now. This is how my fears disappeared, and the trust grew in them that I can lead them." And her favorite saying is that there is no impregnable fortresses, only bad attackers. So Jelena, welcome to the panel as well. So let us start with the first question that I would like to ask my guests from the chambers. Very briefly, if each of you can just quickly tell us how is the current market dynamics in Serbia influencing the adoption of the circular economy in your countries. Maybe we can start with the host, Nebojša, and then we can move to Milena and Ada very briefly so that we can open the discussion on this topic. You?
Hvala najlepše današnjom konferencijom i zahvalan što je Helvitas i švedska ambasada prepoznala rad Centra za cirkularnu ekonomiju od 2017. godine i veoma se radujemo i spremni smo da zajedno učestvujemo u razvoju cirkularne ekonomije i svih ostalih podzakonskih akata vezano za to sa komorama iz regiona. Ono što je bitno, naš centar se trudi već 6. godinu da u Srbiji implementira cirkularnu ekonomiju i ono što je najbitnije je podzakonski akt od nus proizvoda i prestanka statusa otpada koji smo i predložili za ovaj program, jako bitan da se odatle počne. Naravno, digitalna platforma je jedna osnova gde možemo svi da učestvujemo sa svojim idejama, sa svojim planovima i naša platforma je otvorena za sve članice Zapadnog Balkana, to je za sve komore Zapadnog Balkana i nadamo se da ćemo odatle početi.
Thank you, Nebojša. Thank you also for the continuous support that you have been providing to us over the past period. Milena, how is the situation in Montenegro? As you can do both.
Dobar dan, prije svega da se zahvalim Helvetasu i programu RECONOMY na jednoj saradnji koju smo skoro otvorili sa vama i nadamo se da ćemo i u budućnosti uspješno sarađivati. Hvala što ste Crnu Goru prepoznali kao Privrednu komoru kao partnera u ovom procesu. Crna Gora je, da kažem, na početku svog cirkularnog putovanja kao i mnoge zemlje u regionu. Ono što je, da kažem, neki state of play, što se nas tiče, jeste da smo na inicijativu komore i zajedno s UNDP-im izradili mapu puta cirkularne ekonomije ka Crnoj Gori i na osnovu koje je napravljena i nacionalna strategija za cirkularne tranzicije iz 2030. godine s akcionim planom koji identifikuje tačne korake kako će se dalje razvijati jedan sveobuhvatan proces cirkularne tranzicije u Crnoj Gori. Ipak pričamo i o samom usvajanju zelene agende koja je bila pre nekih malo više od 3 godine i da je to jedan proces koji tek počinje i dešava se u zemljama regiona, pa tako i u Crnoj Gori. Kao što je napomenuto, gdje je negdje privatni sektor preuzeo svoju ulogu da bude taj, da kažem, motor razvoja i dalje transformacije. Upravo zbog toga i privredne komore imaju svoju posebnu ulogu u ovom procesu. Što se tiče i same zakonske regulative, mi smo trenutno u procesu usvajanja novih zakona koji trebaju, kasnije ću o tome pričati, koji bi trebali da pruže dovoljno dobar okvir za dalje razvoj cirkularne ekonomije, ali također moramo i da shvatimo da su i mala i srednja preduzeća, mikro, mala i srednja preduzeća koje dominantno su u našoj ekonomiji, oni koji imaju takvu strukturu da je mnogo im lakše negdje praviti tranziciju ka cirkularnosti nego što je to velikim kompanijama koje su već imaju razvijene modele prakse, da je negdje, kažem, lakše sa mnogo manje financija, lakše praviti njihovu tranziciju, mnogo više financijskih ulaganja, tranziciju kada ka cirkularnosti. Također, bitno je i napomenuti da sama struktura naše ekonomije je, opet kažem, specifično u odnosu na druge, opet se moramo nacionalno prihvatati da se pravi nacionalni plan za cirkularnu ekonomiju koji u svakom slučaju jeste sličan svima onima u regionu, ali opet moramo uzeti našu strukturu koja je dominantno vezana za turizam, poljoprivredu i tako dalje, ali o tome ću kasnije pričati. Također mislim da je podizanje svijesti javnosti kroz ovakve događaje, kroz sve ono što mi radimo kroz komoru veoma bitno kako bi se s jedne strane, osim ponude koja može da se nađe na tržištu, našli kupci i oni koji da kažem, plaćaju usluge, da prepoznaju ono što je bitno, da imamo s jedne strane ponudu i tražnju za cirkularnim proizvodima i uslugama.
Hvala ti, thank you, Milena. Yes, definitely when working together towards the regionality, we take the country specifics into consideration because each country has its own differences, but yet working as a region towards improving the Western Balkans circular economy principles, practices, models is what we will also jointly try to achieve. Ada, can I have your views on this?
Yes, about Albania, we have set some priorities that we have been considering the sectors on materials, on horizontal areas, and we have been considering two main components. So one of contribution based on the contribution to economy, and the other consideration to the environmental issues and sustainability issues. So the current market dynamics in Albania shows that construction may be chosen as a priority area, which we have seen the construction has been developing very fast in the past 15 years. And indicators shows that it has a high contribution to GDP, high creation, real power to grow. And approaching from environmental perspective, this sector largely exploits the natural resources. Gas emissions of the sector are very high and recycling rate is very low. So we have to focus on posing circular models on construction. And another important sector in Albania, which is a strategy, a national strategy and priority of the current government, is tourism, as same in Montenegro, and should be considered as a cross priority that intersects with construction. And tourism activities has shown high potentials as they are largest contributors to the domestic material consumption, and that is dominated by biomass, non-metallic minerals. And furthermore, we have considered new horizontal areas as the Albanian chambers, that we can establish economic instruments that have a high policy relevance and circularity potential in our country, because that they will and are essential for achieving its recycling and reduction targets, in particular in waste management. And because we can say today that a low 18% of municipal waste is recycled, and recycling companies can only operate at 25% of their production capacity. So we have to focus that on in Albania. Another important aspect of the new horizontal areas are circular business models. These models have largely and recently penetrated in the markets in Albania due to COVID-19 and to the emergence of new technologies and platforms such as Airbnb, car renting, sharing services giving rise to tourism and food services. And we can say that the main circular business in Albania are based on resource recovery models, mainly focusing on the reuse of agricultural surplus and byproducts sustainable packaging options, and recycled waste, particularly from vehicles and electronics. And still, it is very difficult in Albania to map all the actors concerned, as the vast majority of the businesses are still not familiar with the circularity concepts. And in order to increase the penetration of these businesses in our economy and make them more competitive with the more traditional linear business models, we should implement an enabling framework in different economic centers that would support the adoption of such models. Till now in Albania, we have national strategies for waste, but we don't have a strategy for circular economy. So we have to.
Thank you so much, Ara. There was an interesting thing that you mentioned, like the private sector can only operate within 25% of its capacity. So I will turn to the private sector representatives now, and I'll start with Bojan. Bojan, the company for which you're CEO, the Esotron, is one of the largest in the field of collection and disposal of non-hazardous organic waste in the Western Balkans markets, as well as processing the same. In addition to these waste management services, you're also offering a specialized training programs for the needs of the businesses, and by adopting a circular economy model, the businesses also need a strong workforce. So in this regard, I would just like to ask you, how are the businesses prepared to embrace the circular economy principles, and what collaborative efforts are there in terms of resources, education, and training? And are there any measures that can be taken to support the private sector to transition to the circular economy?
Pre svega da vam se zahvalim, Emilija, i da pozdravim uvažene predstavnike ambasade Švedske i Privredne komore Srbije. Hvala vam u ime kompanije Esotron i moje lično priličan ovakav panel da se pruži prilika da pričamo još o onome što je Emilija već istakla kao važno, da je kod nas i dalje prioritet da puno pričamo o ovome, jer podizanje svesti je nešto što je i dalje u fokusu kako nas kao privrednika, jer smo to definisali kao ključnu stvar na kojoj moramo ulagati da bismo sutra mogli valorizovati neke druge poslovne procese. Tako da veoma mi je drago što imam priliku da pričamo o tome, i istako bi isto tako da u kompanija Esotron već dosta usko sarađuje sa Privrednom komorom, a i sarađujemo već više od 2 godine sa ambasadom Švedske. Pružamo naše usluge waste managementa, što je izuzetno primer dobre prakse koji je značio nama da prikažemo model kako održivost treba da funkcioniše, i zaista, iako je možda, da kažem, u standardima ambasade jedne ustanove kao takve, i u ovom slučaju ambasade Švedske, to regularna praksa, nama na teritoriji Srbije nije bila, i značila nam je naravno ta saradnja da bismo mogli prikazati šta je pravi održivi model upravljanja otpadom iz jednog, da kažem, civilnog objekta koji nije industrijski, koji nije nešto što je trenutno u fokusu Srbije. Kompanija Esotron najviše se bavi trenutno i radi sa industrijom i pružamo usluge za neškodljivi tretman industrijskog otpada i sakupljanje istog, ali isto tako namere su da razvijamo to i da obuhvatimo dalje segmente društva, kao što je civilni sektor, da se ide ka tome da se otpad odvaja na mestu nastanka i da on bude ponovno upotrebljen. Tačnije, da idemo ka tome da imamo što veću cirkularnost. Što se tiče koraka koji će nam pomoći da dođemo do toga, jesu, već sam ih pomenuo, edukacija i podizanje svesti, ali šta radimo da bi to postigli, jeste upravo to što je navedeno, da se bavimo pružanjem usluga našim klijentima. Jer dobar deo industrije u Srbiji i dalje ne zna, ne samo u Srbiji i regionu, pošto smo, da kažem, danas regionalnog karaktera, a mi poslujemo i na teritoriji Crne Gore i Bosne i Hercegovine, i imamo nameru širenja i šire, i da radimo i u Albaniji. Trenutno, znači, mogu adresirati onda to kao jedan regionalni problem, da industrija dalje ne prepoznaje šta je sve potrebno da urade da bi postigli cirkularnost. Tek je sada moment da oni prihvataju tu činjenicu da je potrebno baviti se održivošću, da dolazi uskoro model carbon accountinga koji nije samo nešto što će služiti za isticanje industrije koja brine o životnoj sredini ili ima svoj CSR koji je fokusiran na to, već da je to postaje jedna obaveza. I tu se pojavio moment koji je neophodan da bi se iz te tendencije da se dođe do toga da industrija ispunjava sve da kažem i ESG-eve, ciljeve za uspostavljanje održivosti, da fali edukacije. Edukacije fali dosta, treninga zaposlenih u tim industrijama fali dosta i to smo mi identifikovali kao ključnu tačku da dođemo sad iz toga, upoznajemo se sa time šta treba da se uradi do momenta to je sprovedeno u praksi. I mi smo u našoj kompaniji fokus upravo stavili na razvoj tog sektora kao treninga, edukacije i pruženja konzulting usluga, recimo industriji, koje je potrebno da uradi tako nešto. Mi smo danas svedoci, ne danas, kažem, cijelo ove godine i sa pojavom jednom koja ranije nije bila prisutna, to je zeleno finansiranje, gde su banke i pružaoci određenih finansijskih sredstava industriji i privredi, koje su neophodne za razvoj, zahtevaju da se novac koji je dat za investiciju upotrebljava isključivo za postizanje održivih rezultata i da se to nije samo nešto što se stavlja na reč ili na početnu studiju koja se daje, nek se to zaista sprovodi, delo i prati. I tu smo isto identifikovali nedostatak momenta da industrija zna kako da ispuni tu obavezu da bi došli do atraktivnih finansiranja i smanjila neke troškove finansiranja za svoje potrebe. Tako da su to, da kažem, aktuelne teme trenutno na kojima radimo kako bi još više postigli cirkularnost, a ukratko ono što je naša osnova kompanije Esotron jeste da sav otpad koji sakupimo, neopasan otpad, sprovodimo nameni za upotrebu energetske svrhe, to su biodizel od otpadnih jestivih ulja, servisiramo preko 4000 objekata u Srbiji gde sakupljamo otpadno jestivo ulje koja završava u biodizel i pored 2 direktivi Evropske unije se umešava u fosilno gorivo, fosilno dizel gorivo koje je na pumpama Evropske unije. To još nije standard koji Zapadni Balkan je uspostavio, ali siguran sam da idemo ka tome i doći će dan, pričamo o nekoliko godina, ne desetinama, a drugo je biogas od organskih biorazgradivih otpada koje trudimo se da sakupimo da ne odu na deponije. Mi taj biogas izvučemo, ne da on metan i CO2 završavaju u atmosferi, mi ga kolektujemo, prečišćavamo i on biva korišten u generatoru za električnu energiju koja završava u domaćinstvima ili industriji, koja koristi električnu energiju da ponovo generiše svoj otpad. I to je sad jedna slika cirkularne ekonomije i poruka koja je danas nama motiv ovog skupa.
Super. Thank you so much. Interesting to see that the education and the continuous training and learning is something that is the driving force for us to embrace different principles and different models. So we're going to talk a bit more about that at a later stage, because the aim of all this collaboration is also knowledge exchange, transfer of know-how, education of the private sector per se, so that they can align themselves with the principles of the circular economy. I will move to Jelena now. Jelena, as I mentioned, you are the CEO of the Metal Fair steel mill. You operate in construction, building materials, sustainable mining, infrastructure, renewable energy, which are fortunately considered male-dominated professions. Also, scrolling through your website, I could see that you're the only female on the executive board and only female entirely on the management structure in the organization. So starting from here as a female leader of a company, large company, as I said, predominantly male company, what are the main challenges that you personally have faced, or in general the businesses are facing, especially these micro and small female-led owned businesses, when trying to adopt the circular economy models, and how can this be addressed?
Okay, thank you, Emilia, and it's truly up to this distinguished panel. So Emilia already gave introduction, but I will just add a couple of more. Currently, I'm serving as Chief Executive Officer at Metal Fair Steel Mill, and I play a multi-phased role in steering our organization towards embracing circular economy principles. My responsibilities span to producing steel in environmentally responsible manner, working towards reducing our carbon footprint and contributing to a sustainable future, embodying a commitment to sustainable development within our institutional framework. Our commitment to sustainability is an ethos that is deeply woven into our business strategy and operations, and the foundation upon which we build our future. And regarding challenges that are facing female-led companies in adopting circular economy principles, well, integration of circular economy principles into business operations is a complex undertaking. And when examining the process through the lens of female-led companies, an intricate tapestry of challenges emerges. The pervasive issue of limited access to financial resources. Studies underscore the gender-based disparities in securing funding the entrepreneurial ventures with women-led enterprises facing a disproportionate struggle. In the context of embracing circular economy practices, where initial investments are often higher due to the innovative and sustainable nature of the initiatives, the financial barrier becomes more pronounced. To address this challenge, it is imperative to institute targeted financial inclusivity programs. This could involve the creation of specialized investment funds dedicating to supporting female entrepreneurs in the circular economy sector. Collaborative efforts between financial institutions, governmental bodies, and non-profit organizations advocating for gender equality can result in the development of tailored financial instruments, such as grants and low-interest loans, which we all prefer. Additionally, mentorship programs focusing on financial literacy and investment readiness can empower female leaders to navigate in the circular economy landscape, as well as networking opportunities and mentorship programs that form another significant challenge. Women-led enterprises often find themselves on the outskirts of established business networks and mentorship circles, limiting their exposure to industry insights and strategic guidance. Tailored female entrepreneurs with experienced professionals in the circular economy sector can prove transformative. These programs should not only provide guidance on business strategy, but also address specific challenges associated with adopting circular practices, fostering a sense of community and shared learning, which Bojan also talked about. Beyond financial and networking challenges, gender stereotypes persist, impacting the perception of women in leadership roles within the circular economy. To mitigate these, targeted awareness campaigns and educational initiatives can challenge these stereotypes and showcase the achievement of women in the sector. Efforts to dismantle this will not only encourage more women to pursue leadership roles, but also contribute to a more inclusive and diverse circular economy landscape. In essence, overcoming the challenges facing female-led companies in adopting circular economy principles requires a multi-phased approach.
Elena, thank you so much. You did tackle some of the key challenges that also we as a program have identified when it comes to, supporting or encouraging women entrepreneurs to take more of a leadership role. So we're going to talk about that a bit later. As I would like this to be more of a discussion between us and not just, from the panelists. I am also open to hear if there are any questions from the audience here present with us, but also from the audience that are following online before I continue with my next questions to the panels. Do you guys have any question at the moment from the audience that are present here? Or I can read, there are a few questions that we have received online. The first one was from Ivana, and it was already replied. And Lolo, thank you so much for responding to the question to Ivana. You will be able to, after we have completed the panel discussion. The second question is from Mimosa Krasnici. She's a circular economy certified trainer. Can we have an insight from the panel regarding the circular procurement? Why I say this is because I consider that circular procurement involves engaging and collaborating access across the value chain to align on common goals and empower all players to do their part in making the whole system run. So I don't know if you understood the question is, can we have an insight from the panel regarding the circular procurement in the value chain? Someone would like to say a few words about the circular procurement?
Yes, well, I will answer this. Well, I think that it's the next step regarding circular and the supply chain and everything. It's really difficult to fulfill the whole circle around, because many of companies, especially in our region, are not in line with circularity, which Bojan also mentioned before. So I think it will be the next step. After education of every participant, the next step is completing the cycle of circular economy.
Thank you, Elena. I hope that answers the question. So let's move to the Nebojša again. Nebojša, moving towards the circular economy involves using new materials, new recycled materials, which in turn reduce the company's vulnerability to fluctuating raw material prices, making it more resilient. Additionally, the risk of supply chain disruptions due to natural disasters or geopolitical issues is lower. So considering the regional supply chains, how the circular economy approaches help in building resilience and efficiency? And are there any specific sectors or initiatives in the Western Balkans that lead in this aspect?
Hvala. Dakle, znači suština cirkularne ekonomije je da se materijal ponovo upotrebljava. Ovaj balkanski region je pre 100 godina bio mnogo domaćinski i sve vodio domaćinski. Domaćinski se odnosio prema materijalu, prema životu, prema prirodi, prema svemu. Tako da jednostavno moramo da vratimo na početak te odnose u odnosu na način života. Ono što sprečava današnji međugranično kretanje otpadnog materijala je njegov status. Status je uveden zahvaljujući Evropskoj uniji i svim direktivama koje su uredili taj sektor upravljanja otpadom, ali posle 10 godina, to je već 13 godina, 2010. je Srbija implementirala te zakone, vidi se da pored svih ustaljenih poslova, reciklaže, tokova materijala i njihovog transporta, vreme je došlo da se ozbiljno pozabavimo prestanku statusa otpada. Prestanak statusa otpada važi za one vrste materijala koji bez ikakve hemijske ili termičke obrade mogu vrlo lako da posluže nekoj novoj proizvodnji. To je vrlo bitno zato što ja bi plastično objasnio na primjeru gume, koja je vrlo jednostavni materijal. Jedna mala radionica koja radi patosnice, da bi preuzela otpadnu gumu od proizvodnje Tigar ili Trajal, ona mora da ima dozvolu za tretman otpada i mora da ima studiju za zaštitu životne sredine i mora da ima kamione koje imaju dozvolu za to. Njima, osim materijalnog iznosa koji je veliki za male i srednje preduzeća, oduzima 2 godine procesa da bi počeo da radi. Znači 2 godine on mora da juri te dozvole i te saglasnosti da bi počeo da radi za jednu običnu patosnicu koju vidimo da se dešava. I u pogledu prestanka statusa otpada, kad bi ta guma prestala da bude otpad, on bi dobijao samo materijal i to bi išlo klasična otpremnica kao za bilo koju drugu robu. U tom smislu mislim da je za region dobro da se počne odatle, zato što postoje određene grupacije otpada koje su kompleksne za reciklažu, a nema ih dovoljno da bi bile isplatljive u odnosu na broj stanovnika i količine otpada. Uzet ću za primer frižideri. Frižideri su jako kompleksni, izlazni materijal je jako oskudan, a imamo i opasne materijale kao što su gasovi koji remete ozonski omotač, koji se jako teško izdvajaju, a skupi za reciklažu i neisplativi. I jako je poslovno neisplativo za Srbiju. Srbija je na ivici, na primjer, isplativosti za tu vrstu materijala, a što se tiče Bosne i Hercegovine, Republike Srpske, Crne Gore, Albanije i Makedonije, to se može lako po glavi stanovnika, pošto je negde oko 7-8 kg po glavi stanovnika tog materijala. Tako da te vrste neke otpada treba objediniti i napraviti regionalnu saradnju, rešavanju, zato što moraju da se reše, a ne mogu da se reše na nivou, sad ne mogu ni da se izvoze u Evropu, jer je to zabranjeno. Tako da iz tog ugla gledajući na ovaj projekat, on je savršen za rešavanje takvih nekih problema. Ali, Bože moj, krenut ćemo od jednostavnih materijala, pa vidjet ćemo da ćemo završiti.
Nebojša, thank you. It was quite intriguing to learn that it takes 2 years to get a certificate for someone to be able to produce. If I understood you right, what can be done to lower this period of waiting, and who are the key players that can support this process?
2 godine je okvirno, gledajući zato što imate proces studije uticaja na životnu sredinu, koji moraju da se objavljuju kad ste predali, pa 15 dana javnost da se javi, pa onda kad je prihvaćen 15 dana javnost da se javi, plus poštom ako neko pošalje, i to se nagomila, na primjer, na 6 meseci, plus onaj radni deo. Ali da bi se ubrzalo, to može digitalizacijom da se ubrza, ali postoje veliki strahovi u administraciji oko tih procesa, pogotovo u zadnje vreme vidimo koliki su ti hakerski napadi, šta god to značilo, ali u svakom slučaju vidi se ranjivost tih sistema. Mislim da je jednostavniji put da se ti određeni materijali provuku kroz rešenje prestanku statusa otpada ili nus proizvoda, a ovo će ići svojim putem digitalizacija, posebno oko dozvola uvoza i izvoza otpada, bi mnogo značila više, tako da idemo korak po korak.
Thank you, Nebojša. Trade is also a very important aspect for the region. And related to this topic, I would like to ask Milena, how can circular economy principles be integrated into the trade agreements or market access strategies to benefit the Western Balkans economies? And what roles do the chambers play in facilitating this integration?
Hvala. Mislim da se zvoro dosta interesantnih tema koja ću nas oko prvo da odgovorim na ovo što se me pitalo. Mislim upravo kroz ovakva partnerstva i kroz regionalne inicijative koje imamo kroz druge partnerske organizacije prave veliku sinergiju znanja, mogućnosti razmjene, bolje saradnje između samih komora, ali i između privatnih sektora raznih zemalja pod okriljem komora kao i institucija. Upravo učestvovanje komora u takvim inicijativama doprinosi regionalnoj saradnji, također i kroz projekte koji su EU financirani kroz pojedine oblasti sa partnerima u regionu, ali i EU. Tako da to su neka dva, da kažem, glavna kolosijeka gdje bi se trebala kretati što se tiče komora, ali ono što je pomenuli su kolege Nebojša i predstavnici privatnog sektora, mislim stvari koje su svima jasne, to je pre svega gap u zelenom finansiranju koji nije samo nažalost karakteristika regiona, već i karakteristika na globalnom nivou, da postoji ogroman gap za finansiranje zelene tranzicije, pa samim tim i cirkularne ekonomije i da banke i finansijski sektor kao i međunarodni donori mogu da odigraju veoma bitnu ulogu u ubrzavanju tranzicije u ovom slučaju Zapadnom Balkanu. Za pitanje koje je postavila oko cirkularnih nabavki koje je bilo postavljeno, kod Zambije u Srbiji usvojen zakon o zelenim javnim nabavkama, kod nas je to naravno predloženo, upravo zelene javne nabavke na neki način pospešuju kroz regulativu, makar tom dijelu, nabavku i korišćenje cirkularnih, to je zelenih, da kažem, proizvoda koji su održivi, cirkularni ili environmentally friendly, tako da već to u Srbiji postoji. Kod nas je to još uvijek nije inkorporirano na takav način, ali definitivno one jesu nešto što kroz javni sektor će uključiti privatni sektor da na taj način ima ponudu cirkularnih proizvoda. Takođe, kada pričamo o regulativi koja je jako bitna, pogotovo na Balkanu, da se postave neke stvari u regulatorni okvir, koliko god cirkularna ekonomija nije nužno, ne mora da bude regulisana. Ipak, jasna regulativa po određenim oblastima je itekako, da kažem, beneficiary za dalje razvoj. Mi smo strategiju, ali strategija kao strategija nije sami vezujući, on je više neka lista želja, ja to tako nazivam, nego što je i akcijni plan, nego što je nešto što je toliko obavezujuće za zemlju, ali ono što mi trenutno usvajamo i u skupštinskoj proceduri, već taj zakon se piše već neko vrijeme, to je zakon o upravljanju otpadom koji je u potpunosti usaglašen sa okvirnom direktivom Europske unije o otpadu i dijelom sa direktivom za ambalažu i ambalažni otpad. Mi tu u tom zakonu uvodimo jedan koncept koji neki nedan način postoji i u regionu, ali ne mislim i u svim državama, proširenu odgovornost proizvođača koja upravo jeste alat za dalji razvoj cirkularnosti. Sada se i radi njegova revizija u raznim zemljama upravo iz toga razloga. Jedan od prvih će nam biti gume, podzakonski akt, odnosno prva šema upravljanja će biti gume, a druga će biti električna i elektronska oprema. Tako da mislim da tu imamo dosta posla. Privatni sektor će tu faktički preuzeti nadležnost države u ovom dijelu i snositi odgovornost od početka do kraja svojih proizvoda. To je planirano i mislim da to trebamo pre svega da radimo kroz regionalnu saradnju. Mislim da, ne znam da li Albanija ili znači koleginice i Kosovo radi sličan zakon. Sama implementacija nečega što već 30 godina radi u Europskoj uniji na ono način na koji mi sad treba da radimo jeste jedan kompleksan posao i svakako za to će trebati i znanje i vještine i treba će ljudi koji će znati taj proces da izvedu i na koji način ćemo kasnije nešto što evo sad imamo vrlo nisku stopu reciklaže koja je negdje 11% kako nam se statistika usaglasi kako kome odgovara. Treba podignemo na veći nivo sve pogotovo električna elektronska oprema, baterije, akumulatori koji završavaju u životnoj sredini predominantno, osim kod kompanija koje imaju visoku društvenu odgovornost koje to predaju, trebamo da napravimo, da vidimo prvo s infrastrukturnog dijela koliko je nama potrebno, također stvaranjem u Crnoj Gore je malo tržište, sve kad bi napravili prestanak statusa otpada i dobili licenci, mi bi dobili neko tržište sekundarnih sirovina koje bi bilo veoma malo i neisplativo, tako da je regionalno uvezivanje na tom nivou izuzetno bitno, tako da imamo jedno regionalno tržište sekundarnih sirovina koje bi definitivno moglo da koristi privatnom sektoru da kasnije traže svoje inpute upravo tu.
That's exactly what we have been discussing also earlier, this regional exchange of raw materials so that the regional companies can use them and be more competitive. In this regard, I just want to ask you, Milana, what is your opinion related to the infrastructure of the companies? Do the companies have the right infrastructure to process the circular economy principles that are being requested from them?
Pa ono što smo svi utvrdili da je nivo znanja veoma nizak, to smo svi već rekli da neke kompanije, opet kažem, koje više su na međunarodnoj sceni, više znaju o samo tome nego one kompanije koje, kažem, usloženo domaći, koje posluju isključivo na domaćem tržištu. Mi se trudimo u komori da svakim danom podižemo svijest znanja i prednostima prelaska na cirkularnu ekonomiju, koliko god opet i ono što se konstantno ponavlja je pristup finansiranju ključno kako bi mikro i mala preduzeća mogla da uđu u tu priču. Prije svega potrebno je i na državnom nivou postaviti možda neke poreske olakšice za ljude koji kreću, koji prave svoje cirkularne modele poslovanja. Opet s druge strane da se i finansijski sektor da povoljnije načine pristupa financijama ljudima koji se dokazuju da svoje projekte i procese žele da transformišu. Također tu je međunarodna pomoć veoma bitna. Mislim da tako konkretne zelene linije pomoći za privatni sektor bi bilo veoma korisno. Mislim, ako ne, mislim da će to biti jedini model ukoliko želimo da pravimo ne fragmentisane, već neke pravimo strateške promjene. Mislim da novac će tu biti ključan i regulativa koja će pružati negdje uređenje određenih oblasti s jedne strane koje mora, a s druge strane pružati neke olakšice kompanijama koje žele da posluju na cirkularan način.
Thank you, Milena. Yes, finances are always a key resource or an issue when it comes to doing any business. We've mentioned several times that the networking, the regional collaboration, the exchange between the region is quite important. So, Ada, in what ways do the chambers facilitate such networking and collaboration between the businesses? So not the chambers among the chambers only, but also between the businesses. Are there any such opportunities for the businesses in the region, especially for the small and medium enterprises, and of course, more precisely those that are led by women? I would like to a little bit know about how the businesses.
Yeah, the Western Balkan chambers, the 6 countries have been working towards the promotion of the region from decades now. In 2017, from 2017, the chambers has established a platform of cooperation with the aim to provide a voice to the business community in the region and to facilitate inter-business contacts and promote the region as one investment destination. Since in the Western Balkans, it is estimated that we have like 18 million people resident in this region. They have formed the Chamber Investment Forum that represents around 350,000 companies, mostly small and medium-sized enterprises. And its mission is to open new opportunities for stronger networking between the businesses and within the region and improve the climate and the markets. In regard to the tools, the chambers have operated towards the CIF, we called it CIF, Chamber Investment Forum, has applied the Regional Supplier Development Program through the implementation of the Common Regional Market, whereas more than 6,500 companies from 6 economies of the region have participated in various activities, action activities, tailor-made services, trainings, info session, and have met the most important business standards and are ready to become part of the single European market, which it's very positive. It's a very positive step toward their connections and networking between them. The chambers have established a market access database, another important tool aiming at mapping the supplies from the Western Balkans. And this database is used to ensure further development and implementation of services for companies, such as technical assistance in digitalization services, to enable the companies to join the EU and regional supply chain, which is very important for the circular business model. Digitalization itself, it's an important tool in ensuring the implementation of circular business models. And as another instrument is the new growth plan for the Western Balkan 6, which is one of the strategies, main strategies of our governments of the region. And its implementation will involve alignment in the region's economies with the EU single market, including the free movement of goods and services, which will give a much better connection and networking of the companies within the region market and within the European single market. As a progress, it will be a progress toward the climate goals set out in the Green Agenda. The question is, why do we mention all this? Because by fulfilling the criteria of common regional market and the European single market, our region's economy will become more resilient, circular economy, relevant business models will rise and strengthen. In regard to female-led businesses, and I may see that 50% of here are now are women, and is led by women. The Albanian Chamber, as the other chambers, has set priority to promote and encourage regional economic cooperation, trade, innovation, and entrepreneurs in the region. In collaboration with the local chambers and women's economic chambers, we have done We have done together activities with collaborative activities with the Kosovo Economic Chamber of Women that have efforts to increase collective action and create a procreative network dedicated to advancing in the digital and green agenda. This initiative provided a platform for the chambers and women in business in order to discuss opportunities, challenges related to the inclusion of women in digital and circular business models and landscape. And we also, all the chambers emphasize the importance of cooperation between women entrepreneurs in the region by supporting regional workshop conferences that have offered opportunities for networking, exchange of knowledge, experiences, opportunities to expand new collaboration, fostering a supportive ecosystem for women in business. However, well-coordinated and targeted financial and technical support will be required to help small and medium-sized enterprises, especially in Albania, overcome challenges in adopting sustainable practices and circular business models. So there is much to be done, and concrete and relentless efforts from all the stakeholders are required for circular economy to meet its full potential in the Western Balkan region.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Ada. It's really great to see that there are initiatives that are supporting or aiming to support the women-led enterprises in raising awareness, financial literacy, digitalization, and everything that they might need. So yes, before we continue, I would just like also to ask if there is any questions from the audience present in the room or from the audience that are listening online. We have one question online. Maybe I can introduce the question at this stage. It's from Dragana from Izomont. What is the most effective way to raise the level of awareness of citizens of a country, as well as economic and government institutions, about the circular economy? And do you think that one of the ways would be the implementation of ISO standards, such as ISO 14001 or ISO 5001 in the local laws that regulates this area? So someone, Nebojša, or would you like to?
Pa, ono što sam malo prepomenuo, meni je najbolji pristup građanima da bi shvatili značaj cirkularne ekonomije, to je domaćinsko ponašanje i domaćinsko ophođenje prema životu. Ono što je problem u Srbiji, što ne razdvajamo otpad na mestu nastanka, to nas ne sprečava da razdvajamo otpad kada dođe na deponiju. Ali naravno tu je drugi kvalitet materijala i smanji mu se vrednost dok boravi u kontejnerima, posebno ovim podzemnim kontejnerima, ali to je jedan od pristupa, nije samo kod nas, ima širom sveta takav način. A što se tiče uvođenja standarda, naravno kompanije koje su svesne i koje imaju za cilj delovanje na nivou ekološkog ophođenja prema životnoj sredini, njima je u cilju da uvedu standarde i da praktično radnicima, pa ne mogu kažem da olakšaju, njima su kompleksniji onda sistemi unutar kompanija, ali su oni bliži odgovornosti i imaju veću odgovornost prema životnoj sredini i lakše razumeju sa tim standardima zbog čega je sve to bitno i verovatno gomilu njih prenosi to kući pa se to širi dalje jednostavno. Tako da mislim da region uopšte nema smanjenu svest o važnosti i reciklaže i odnose životne sredine, zato što vidimo šta se događa oko nas. Sistemski u rešenjima, znači državne institucije, komora, kompanije moraju, dobro, kompanije još najmanje, one ne mogu mimo države da rešavaju neke probleme, ali hoću vam kažem da je mnogo veća odgovornost u organima koje donose odluku nego u građanima. Kod nas je tipičan primer, bilo je primjera 3 različita kontejnera i dođe jedan kamion i sve strpa u isti kamion. I građanin kad to vidi, naravno da nema volju da se on trudi da to razdvaja ako to opet ide u jedan kamion i na istu deponiju. Tako da, dobro, ali rešit će se to s vremena na vreme. Sa Vinčom nadam se da će taj projekat da da velike rezultate, koliko je bitan za Beograd, za Srbiju, sigurno je bitan i za region, da pokaže da na određeni način može da se rešava. Ali vidite.
Thank you, Nebojša. I hope that answers Dragana's question. Bojan, recently I read an article where it was written by you and two of your colleagues, where you say that if there is no incentive for the economy, or if there is no awareness and economic profit, the business community will not begin to apply the principles of the circular economy on its own. Separation of waste and its reuse in industry is also an opportunity for serious public-private partnership projects, but unfortunately, Serbia, as well as the other countries in the region, still persistently misses these opportunities. Starting from here, so that the companies become more aware about the economic profit and everything that they can gain by going towards the circular economy principles. What, in your opinion, are the key economic benefits that the businesses can experience by transitioning to the circular economy? And how is this supporting their competitiveness and growth in the market locally, but also on the regional level?
Yeah, so you see this. There is
Hello, Ano, jesi u guži?
Tu
tamo. Imam jedno pitanje. Ovi Slovenci imaju neki...
I already said in simple words about the electricity that they gain from turning their waste into the digestion that we provide to them. So, and this is something which they are not completely aware of. And because the electrical distribution in Serbia is centralized and organized, so it's not a free market yet. It's becoming as we speak, and there is a significant progress in this, which will enable the industry to procure the electricity from independent traders. Therefore, this is the lead to a certain incentive which will come. And what is now is that they can use this accounting of providing waste for treatment, the digestible waste, which is when you look at the shares of waste in industry, other than ones that can be recycled, like metal, glass, paper, and this, bio-waste is the biggest share in the gross waste being generated by industry. So this waste, rather going to the landfill, it can go into energy. And now what they can do at the exact moment is to account this in their carbon accountability. This is not dependent on any certain law or them being able to procure electricity or not. CO2 emissions they can benefit from. Serbia is a member and one of the countries which signed the Paris Climate Agreement, which enables the companies centralized in Europe and has operations in Serbia to do centralized carbon accounting in their homelands. As an example, a German company doing business in Serbia can account their efficiency in Serbia in that they do in Germany, and it's applicable because of the Paris Agreement. And this is an incentive. This is an incentive, and an incentive which is not used enough, only because the small lack of knowledge and willingness. It's a simple thing to understand it in fly. So we even have the international companies which have some sort of domestic management is okay in these companies, and they also have a bit of resistance to imply this towards their home companies. But this is all, I think, I'm speaking now about the problems, but actually it's not so dark, let's say. There is a lot of things going on and this thing is developing. I'm doing this business in Serbia since 2010. And when I started doing this, it was a completely different world as it is today. So, and the progress is really fast. We don't maybe see it as a citizens and not somebody who is deeply involved in this. But the progress is there. So we there's a company that is doing business in renewables, and me as a person who is doing all different sorts of businesses related to renewable energy or waste management, I see a deep progress. And this is due to a fact that Chamber of Commerce and the Chamber of Commerces in the region are doing a great job by facilitating this. There is also, I want to address the question a bit for the green procurements and circular procurements, which Jelena answered perfectly. And Milena said how we have this as a law in Serbia, but this is a law for public sector. Private companies need also, okay, law cannot regulate private company how they are doing their procurements, but there is a lack of infrastructure for them or that can provide them. They need it. They want to do a green procurement so they can address the financial institution which they are taking some loans from. And they cannot have a hub which will help them do a circular or green procurement. And why is this also important? Because companies then start to do strange things. They rather do an offset of carbon emissions rather than implying circular economy. To put this in a perspective, I will rather I will plant some trees around my company rather than buying some screws that are made and produced on green basis. But once that I didn't buy this screw and I build my factory, I cannot redo it again. And the trees, planting trees, I like it personally, but this is an easy way out of this. And we should not do it. It's a step. I mean, we should do it. Don't get me wrong. We should plant trees. But we need to understand the big picture and the steps how to do it. This is a simple version. We have extreme versions where a company, in the lack of ability to do the green and circular procurement, they rather build, I don't know, 1.5 megawatt solar power plant. Okay, we need solar power plants, but we need for different reasons. We needed to make Serbia less dependable on coal, which is a very huge problem, which is not topic for today, but it is an issue. But solar power plant as an offset of CO2 for an industry is a step 5. You dry out all of the possibilities before.
Thank you so much, Brian. I think you illustrated it quite well with these few examples as to how the reality is when we come to talking about a circularity. Jelena, Metal Fair has recently presented the stone foundation of the new era in the field of metallurgy and its commitment to sustainability. You have introduced the Metal Green Steel.
Correct.
This is an innovation that your company has introduced towards sustainability, circularity, and the green transition. So can you please tell us a little bit the story behind this innovation and lead to that? How can the SMEs leverage these innovative practices and the innovation technologies, the digital platforms, so they can enhance their transition to the circular economy and improve the resource efficiency at the end of the day?
Well, we've been working on green steel for past 3 years now, so it's been a difficult path to go through. So this steel is the result of a vision and aspiration to create a product that aligns entirely with sustainability principles. It is the outcome of combining the latest technologies, utilizing renewable energy sources, recycling waste, and reducing gas emissions, and also implementing various other innovative practices. First of all, utilization of renewable energy sources. We have 2 solar power plants, and partially we're using energy from those, and the rest we are using electrical energy derived from renewable sources and certified by Elektroprivreda Serbia. So we, as Metal Fair, we are in top 5 consumers of electricity, so it's a huge consumption. Then waste recycling. The entirety of our input raw material in the technological process consists of scrap iron that would otherwise end up in waste landfills. So it's not ending up in waste landfills. We are using it in our production. and a significant portion of the byproducts from our process becomes usable for other industries, and Nebojša also mentioned some of them. So then we have efficient resource usage, modern practices based on data generation and analysis of artificial intelligence technologies. And then greenhouse gas emission reduction, because we are using electric arc furnace that releases 3 times fewer CO2 and the other greenhouse gases compared to conventional steel production methods. And of course, use of sustainable materials, which means scrap iron is our sole source of raw material, and the steel we produce after its life cycle becomes raw material entirely in the next circle. So regarding technologies, the role of innovative technologies and digital platforms in advancing the circular economy cannot be overstated. For female-led companies, strategically leveraging these technologies becomes a crucial determinant in overcoming multi-faced challenges and enhancing their transition to circular practices. One pivotal area where technology can catalyze change is in the adoption of smart supply chain management system. Integrating blockchain technology offers transparent and traceable sourcing, providing assurance to consumers and investors alike. That's why I said it's the next step, because it's really a crucial one, big one, but next one. This transparency is of paramount importance for female-led businesses, as it not only enhances accountability, but also builds trust in the circularity of their products and services. And as I mentioned before, collaboration between industry stakeholders, technology providers, and the regulatory bodies can create frameworks that ensure the ethical and secure implementation of these technologies. Data analytics and artificial intelligence represent transformative opportunities for resource optimization. In the context of female-led companies where efficiency gains are particularly crucial due to resource constraints, these technologies can be really a game changer. By leveraging data analytics, businesses can gain insights into consumption patterns, identify areas for waste reduction, and streamline operations for enhanced resource efficiency. Governments and industry associations play a crucial role in facilitating the adoption of these technologies by providing accessible training programs and financial incentives, ensuring that the benefits are accessible to a broad spectrum of businesses. Digital platforms emerge as another instrument based in facilitating the transition to a circular economy for female-led companies, establishing online communities, forums, and marketplaces specifically designed for women in the business.
Thank you, Elena. I think somehow the discussion evolves around the training, the financial incentives, the support, the exchange, the know-how that all of us can provide towards not just the female-led companies, but also to any micro and small medium enterprises so they can progress towards the circular economy principles. Such an interesting discussion, and guess time flies quite quickly. And before I move to the final question for the panelists today, I would like to see if there are any additional questions from the audience or from our online participants. There is one for Bojan from Sandra Klaric from BioIdea. How does Esotron see the possibilities of cooperation with small businesses in the field of social circular economy, especially in connection with initiatives of the Women's Association BioIdea for Sustainable Development?
Yeah, we have a vision, and we already thank you, Ellen. And we already have some experience with being involved in this. Specifically, when we say women in bioindustry, we have one example. We were doing some, we supported projects of making soaps, women crafting club from south of Serbia, somewhere, that does crafting of soaps and some other cosmetics out of used cooking oil, which is, of course, refined. And we provided them the resources for it because we have the vast amounts of used cooking oil that we turn into biodiesel. And we felt that supporting this with the resource is a great potential to support the societies in doing this. And for us, it's very, very important. We were involved in many civil projects. We actually received also the United Nations reward in 2019 for doing the sustainable community projects, where we were collecting food waste Actually, it was in 2019. Now it's a regular deal that we do. Then it was pioneering, and we were doing it as a project. So we were partnering and gaining support from local societies, and to show how it works is how the food waste, when it's collected out of the waste generators, and meaning societies, households, restaurants, and after we treat it, what are the benefits for the environment of that city, that communal area? How much of the pollution we took off from the CH4 and CO2 emissions, and how much energy we produced actually for the same communal area. And speaking of incentives, used cooking oil is a valuable resource. It's something that in the value chain management can also receive some financial incentives. We are trying to develop now some law regulations with in the communication with the Ministry of Environment of Serbia, how to implement this for the civilians, because we as a company can do this practice with another legal entity. You cannot pay something to a civilian as a private company, I mean, for waste. And this is something which has to be regulated so that people can receive some financial incentive from Esotron for collecting the waste. And this is something that we tend to do more with supporting the society, so we can work together. This might be an idea for the lady that asked the question, yes, that we can work together in these incentives for putting this in availability for citizens.
Perfect. This is exactly what Sandra's question was about. I will make sure you listen. It's quite long, and then potentially see what are the opportunities for collaboration there. So Sandra, I hope you're satisfied with the answer from Bojan. Now moving forward towards the final words for today's discussion, I would again like to start or finish with the representatives of the chamber, because before I give the last words to the representatives of the private sector. So looking forward, what are the strategic priorities that the chambers will be focusing on in advancing the circular economy in the upcoming period, so that we can jointly contribute towards the economic growth and the sustainability goals of the countries? So Nebojša, would you like to tell us the future initiatives that will be coming up?
Pa, na početku je koleginica Ada spomenula građevinski otpad. Mislim da je građevinski otpad, obzirom na količine izgradnje i rušenja u našem regionu, veoma značajan i da može dosta da pomogne oko ponovne upotrebe materijala, zato što ne znam koliko ste upoznati, ali u građevinski materijal može dosta otpadnog materijala da se upotrebi kao repromaterijal, to je kao osnovna sirovina, počevši od stakla, od plastike, od gume, od bilo kog materijala. Neću da govorim o metalu, naravno, pošto je Jelena tu je doktorirala tu tehnologiju, i oni su praktično zero waste kompanija, sve od otpadnog materijala prave i naravno građevinski materijal. Ali da ne ponavljam ponovo problem prestanka statusa otpada, koji bi bio najznačajniji u građevinskom otpadu, i pomenuo bi i kolege iz Zelene gradnje sa kojima smo napravili mapu puta u upotrebi recikliranog betona, koji je najosnovniji, najjednostavniji, kao što sam plastično objašnjavao za gumu, tako i u građevinskom otpadu beton najjednostavnije ponovno upotrebiti kao punilac, da li u ovim temeljima ili u proizvodnji cementa. U svakom slučaju tu ima dosta prostora i dosta potrebe, pošto ja mislim da Srbija za ove projekte koje očekuju Expo 2027, metro i stadioni, nema toliko reka, šljunka, kamena samo za ta 3 projekta, kamoli za nešto drugo. tako da bi ponovna upotreba materijala iz građevinskog otpada bila bogom dana za te nove projekte, ali Bože zdravlja. Ima, naravno, razumevanja i želje da se to uradi, ali vidjet ćemo koliko će se iskoristiti.
Thank you, Nebojša. Moving to Milena, so let's make this brief, 30 seconds each, so we can finish on time.
I will just be brief with our next plans within the chamber, how we wish to. I can continue in English. Okay, so recently we have established a hub of the circular economy in the Chamber of the Economy last December. So we're now, we launched it and we're planning activities and networking of the private sector through the hub and moving it as one-stop shop for all circular practices and knowledge. Of course, as we mapped, as Nebojša mentioned, that's why he reminded me, the plan is also to make circular roadmaps for strategic sectors before coming period. So we'll see to do that together with the ministry or some international agency. We'll see how this will develop. But for priority sectors, which are tourism, food, built environment, as was already mentioned, then that is the three sectors. The transport, of course, which is in a way making the most GHG emissions in the country. So we basically are now focusing around tourism, which is incorporating in a way food system to the local supply chains, and then also the built environment, because they're also part of the building community, not just the construction sector, and then the sector of the transport. So these are like four main points which we are planning on moving mainly now at the sector of the tourism because of economic significance, and plus because of this touristic season, then we have a high fluctuation of waste than the country without tourism season. So that is why it's mostly needed to address that sector in a waste prevention and reuse and recycling.
Yeah. Thank you, Milena. I believe this will also enable job creation quite in these sectors. And Ada, your 30 seconds as a way forward.
Yeah, a few sentences. I should add that we need to work on our raising awareness that we have talked about and educating businesses, public institutions, and households on waste prevention, circular design, and littering. And we should support capacity building and tip skills as well as vocational training on circular economy. That is very important. On the other hand, we have green finances. We should, the Albanian Chamber aims to be an intermediate and at securing financial support from the government and other international actors for projects and initiatives through grants and loans that would help decrease the cost of capital for the circular investments and overcome these financial and information barriers.
Thank you, Ada. Quite short and brief and concise. And moving to the private sector, to Bojan and Jelena, I would like to ask you briefly to share with us one message or recommendation that you would like to share with the representatives of the business sector that is here with us today, that are listening online, but that will be following this afterwards. And what would that be? Be it from the panel inspired today or be it from your personal experience? Bojan? What would be your recommendation or message to the business sector?
Yeah, the recommendation would be let's keep on doing these things. Let's keep on talking about this, addressing these issues, and let's do it regionally. We have certain activities with the Chamber of Commerce, but this is a fantastic opportunity that we have also the representatives from other Western Balkans countries, so we can address it together. So keep on doing it, and I mean inviting industry to take more participation in such events. It is important for you because applying this knowledge today will create you what is your KPI as the most important, the economics. Today it's cheaper to be sustainable. It will be more and more expensive in the future. So reaction today.
Thank you, Bojan. Yes, react today. And Jelena, what will be your message?
Well, as a representative of the business sector, message today is rooted in the recognition that the transition of circular economy is not merely a choice, but a necessity. The urgency of addressing environmental challenges and the growing demand for sustainable business practices underscore the pivotal role that businesses play in shaping a more resilient and regenerative future. Our foremost recommendation is to emphasize the importance of collaboration and shared responsibility. The circular economy is not a solo endeavor. It requires a harmonious symphony of efforts from businesses, government entities, and civil society. By fostering partnerships and open dialogues, we can create a conducive environment for the exchange of ideas, resources, and best practices.
Thank you, Jelena, and thanks to the panelists for this really inspiring 1.5 discussion. Time flies quite quickly. Just as a closing remark from my side, from the discussion, I think it's clear that the pathway towards this journey is not so easy. It can be complex, but we are all here with joint forces to support these processes, primarily for the growth of the private sector, so that the private sector can see their growth, create more job opportunities, return on investment, higher income generation for the employment for the people working in this sector, and keeping a green environment for the future of our countries. Also, we saw that our countries are ripe with a potential for innovation. There were several initiatives that were mentioned here that are supporting the, especially the women-led enterprises. We are ripe for collaboration and for sustainable growth within the regional context. So let's carry forward this momentum from today's dialogue. Let's continue building the partnership. We are here as a project to continue supporting not just these 3 chambers, but all chambers of the Western Balkans who would like to be part of this initiative and take concrete steps from the discussions that we have had today. So thank you all once again for your participation. Thanks to the panelists for accepting the invitation to be part of this discussion. Thank you all for being part of this panel discussion here today and online of the participants. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Emilia. Thank you, everyone. Very exciting to see the chamber and businesses actually thinking forward and doing that regionally. And it's quite interesting that even in the Zoom room where everyone was participating, people had already started networking. So questions were being thrown around in the chat, but also people sharing their own experiences and also offering an opportunity to exchange furthermore. Now, regionally, it's a big word, but I'm going to welcome someone who does this day in, day out, Mr. Paulo Rodriguez, who is the program manager for RECONOMY, and is going to give you a program overview. Paulo, please. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Representatives of the Swedish Embassy, representatives of the Chambers of Commerce of Serbia, Albania, and Montenegro, dear colleagues, distinguished guests here present today and also online. It was very inspiring to hear this rich exchange of ideas and experiences from the different parts. Before we finalize this morning, I would like to just reflect RECONOMY's work across the Western Balkans, across the Eastern Partnership, and share what RECONOMY is doing and what we plan to do specifically in this intervention with the Chambers of Commerce. So RECONOMY is a program of the Swedish International Development and Cooperation Agency, short, and we aim at supporting the generation of inclusive, sustainable, decent, and green jobs that provide better income for youth and women, and especially those from disadvantaged backgrounds. I think it became also very clear in the discussion that we just had in the panel, the importance that initiatives, that projects that aim at fostering economic development don't just center on one specific aspect. Our economy today is very much interlinked, and initiatives that aim at promoting economic development should therefore be holistic and address different sides of the puzzle. RECONOMY tries to do just that. On 3 work streams, we call them services, competences, and influences, with the goal of having this holistic approach and very much addressing the problems from different angles. On the service side, we support businesses, we support initiatives that result in increase of competitiveness of the private sector. Simultaneously, we work on supporting employability of women, of youth, through demand skills initiatives, through intermediation initiatives, and we work also on the regulatory space, better regulatory environment. RECONOMY currently implements 9 projects across 2 regions. So starting in the Eastern Partnership region that comprises Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan, we implement 5 projects in this region. The first one is on digital, supporting different sectors of activities, utilizing digitalization as an engine for private sector development. We work with the information, communication, and technology sector as well, specifically because we see this sector as a potential sector that creates employment and opportunities for our target group. We work on energy efficiency in construction and renovation as another project where we feel, in a sector where we feel there are numerous opportunities for promoting green transition and promoting a greener economy. We work on resource efficiency in the textile and apparel sector. Here very much also bringing to the forefront concepts like circularity and how circular economy can support the growth of the sector. And the last project that you see on the screen is about fostering entrepreneurial ecosystems. We just started this project this year, and it aims at supporting business creation, entrepreneurial development. We're starting this project in Armenia, and hopefully we will be able to scale it to a regional level as well. In the Western Balkans, we work on 4 projects at the moment. The first one is labor implementation. This project aims at working or works with public employment services of different countries with the objective of improving their performance, and with that supporting labor market integration of our target group. We work also on digitalization, very much like what I explained to you for the Eastern Partnership. We work on empowering disadvantaged through green initiatives to green and digital. And the last project is energy efficiency in construction and renovation. This initiative with the Chambers of Commerce falls within the empowering disadvantaged to green and digital, and utilizing green economic development as an engine to provide economic opportunities for our target group. I don't want to go for too long. I know the morning has already been quite, but just trying to highlight something that I think was evident here today, which was the regional nature that RECONOMY has. It's very important for us that the initiatives that we pursue follow a regional nature. It's very rewarding for RECONOMY to see here today representatives coming from Albania, from Montenegro, and exchanging ideas with the Serbian colleagues, and promoting development jointly and in cooperation. This is exactly what we believe in RECONOMY. It's what we try to pursue transversally to all the projects that I enumerated, and again, it's very rewarding to see that happening here today. Another key principle of RECONOMY has to do with what we call the triple dividend. So for us, it's important. Economic development is the engine that we feel can bring these opportunities for our target group. But it's important that we don't just focus on economic development in monetary terms. Potentially that has been the mistake that our societies have done in the past 50 years in the creation of doing differently. We aim at looking at other aspects as well that should go hand in hand with the monetary aspects of economic development. And those are the inclusive nature that we should have in the growth that we pursue, understanding what nuances we should put in place so that economic development translates equally across different groups of people, and simultaneously looking at environmental values. So we cannot, for the sake of our sons, of our daughters, continue down this road of pursuing economic growth at the expense of the environment. Specifically for this intervention with the Chambers of Commerce, we want to highlight a few things. We think that information is key on promoting circular economy, waste management practices, and the key pillar for us is the collaboration between the different chambers. We think that there's an element of a win already in that. If we get out of this project that there's an ongoing collaboration, cooperation between chambers of commerce in the region, it's already a very important milestone and a very important win for economy. We don't wish to stop there. We believe that that it would be very important to have some elements out of this partnership that translate into something more concrete. And in that sense, we are supporting the chambers in the development of an online platform. And this online platform is supposed to do just what I was mentioning before, be a vehicle for the transmission of information across the chambers to private sector actors, to the population, and with that have this information. Thank you very much. Have this information resulting in better business practices across the board. We think it's also important to question, and it's one role of RECONOMY to push for the incorporation of these nuances that I mentioned before. It's important that we pursue economic development, but looking at gender questions. How can we empower women-led businesses, for example, to be in the forefront of change? How can we empower entrepreneurial initiatives that originate from disadvantaged groups to be supported as well? And so this is a key role for RECONOMY in this project, to support it, to bring these questions to the table and ensure that these points are taken into account. We also aim to connect the chambers to relevant technical assistance that will support with the achievement of these goals. We will look into also supporting advocacy efforts. I think it was also evident in the discussion in the panel, the importance of reducing these times that potentially go from registrations till a company can put a product in the market, and we feel that that it's also a work that should be led by the chambers in terms of pushing for this regulatory environment improvement that will support the integration of circular economy and waste management practices. And last but not least, we aim to also learn from the activities that we do, not only us as a development program, but also the private sector, also the chambers contributing to a transversal learning within our system. Just a final word from my side, that this event doesn't end here. This is the kickoff. Our teams will be working hard on establishing an action plan with the chambers of Serbia, Montenegro, and Albania over the coming couple of days. We remain very much opening further chambers from Western Balkan countries into. We are conducting conversations with the Chamber of North Macedonia. We have high expectations that they will come on board as well. I apologize for the long monologue. I will stop here, invite the chambers to join me in signing the memorandums of understanding. And if you allow me just a word to the work of the colleagues have put to put in place this event. There are many faces that don't show up. There are behind the scenes making sure that this happens also online. And a special thank you to all of them. And with this, I end. Thank you very much and have a pleasant day.
All right, so as the saying goes, something is very good in word, but is better in deed. So right now we'll do the deed. There'll be a signing of the memorandum. Paolo said at the end of his speech, hopefully more and more institutions like the chambers can join, and obviously we can look at the future in the face. I'd like to thank everyone that was here to the very end, especially the people online who were very lively. And I would recommend for everyone to look at the resources that there are online, starting from the RECONOMY program website, but also maybe this exchange of knowledge and experience that you already started through the panel. So thank you very much, everyone. I'd like the representatives from the two chambers to join here and sign in the ceremony. And Stone will lead the way. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Maybe just one word from my side. This morning, we already signed the memorandum with the Serbian chamber because of the presence of the president, of the director, who had to leave afterwards, but also the media that was here. And now in the afternoon, we will finish the signing of the memorandums with the Chamber of Montenegro and of Albania. So just not to get any confusion, where is Serbia in this process? That has already been done this morning. Thank you.
All right. Right, congratulations. And this spells the end of the event. For the people online, thank you once again. For everyone here present, there is going to be a small reception at the end where you can use it to have something to eat, but most important to have this